Okay, what is going on there, everyone, and welcome back to another video from Dracon. Today, we're going to be talking about this lovely little box set here we've got, and this is the Icons of the Realms Orc Warband. Now, if you haven't been paying attention to WizKids, and this one's been out of your radar, let me explain. This is part of what I like to call the Warband set that's been coming out with WizKids and Wizard of the Coast. They've been coming out with these sets. Now, each of these sets comes with premiums. I did do a review on the Kobolds. I did one on the Village Raiders before they started calling them Warbands, the Cave Defenders. I'm trying to think. And then the Grung pack. Oh, yes, the Grung. If you want to see one of the one packs I was very disappointed with, you can definitely go check out that video. And if you want to see one I was moderately okay with, you can check out the Kobolds. And I believe, I don't know if those are still available. But yeah, actually still up. You can go check out my Cave Defenders and the Village Raiders pack, and you can definitely see the ones that I really enjoyed. Now, these sets are very expensive. They're raising in price all the time. So really, honestly, getting these early on is probably your best bet to get them at MSRP before people are buying them and reselling them again. Because I've seen this specific set here go for like already jump up to the $45 to $50 range, just like the Kobolds did. And what are we getting in this set? Well, this is a purely orc set. We're getting just, I think it's what, 8 orcs. That's not bad. 8 orcs. And I got this at, I believe it was 35. Yeah, I think it was 35 bucks. So a little bit cheaper than what the MSRP right now is on there, or at least what it's being sold for, like Amazon, for instance, unless they went to another sale. So, you know, if they have, don't shoot the messenger. I only know what I know at the time, at least the time of me recording. But I gotta say, I like the idea of this orc set. They're pretty cool looking. And it's nice to get a couple more orcs. I think there's actually a few females in here too, which if you guys did check out my Hero Quest expansion orcs, I liked that there was a, variety. We weren't getting just a group of big muscle-wielding males. We were getting some brawny females to go along with these orcs. Getting some more variety for options for a dungeon master or a tabletop play game. I'm not sure what the Pathfinder version of Dungeon Master is, but, that's just, it gives more variety, more options. Now, I think we've talked enough about it. Let's open up these bad boys, go over them, and see what they look like out of the box. Okay, so here we have number 1. This is your standard orc, as it kind of goes by. Now, this one is, I don't want to say it's necessarily automatically male or female. Looking at it, I had to take a quick look at it, and thank goodness I avoided the opening for you guys, because that made a lot of crinkly plastic. They made these bad boys really tight fitting, really making sure they don't get like stolen from a store. But anyway, so this is your standard orc, apparently. Doesn't have any special names like the other ones, like it's not a special orc claw or an orc sergeant, none of that kind of stuff. So this one's literally just an orc, your standard orc. You can use it if you want to actually have someone in your group play an orc. They can play that. This could be their character. If they want to be male or female, since, orcs are very brawny regardless, could be either or. I couldn't find enough to really specify either direction, but I would definitely say it probably leans a little more towards the male style, man. And it's not bad. I like the cloth. I like the axe. I like the furs. It's not like, it's bulky, but not bad bulky. Like, we're not getting gigantic pauldrons. We're not getting oversized armor. The axe is a bit big, but orcs like big weapons because the bigger they are, the harder they can smash you with them and destroy your armor and destroy you and wreck your entire party. So that makes sense. And remember, this is only number 1 of 8, so we still got a bunch more to go. So overall, very nice orc, very nice standard orc. Let's hope they just keep getting better with them being special. Let's get to number 2, shall we? So here we have number 2, the Orog. Now, if I remember correctly, the Orog is like the idea of an orc kind of mixed with ogre, where it's like this bigger, stronger orc. And, now, I remember getting an Orog mini in the past with the first booster brick I ever bought, which was the Tyranny of Dragons. I actually got the Orog in that one. The big, giant Orog that was so big, it honestly could have sat in a large base and not been a problem. But this one is a little bit small. It's a little bit on the smaller side. I mean, Orogs are supposed to be a bit bigger and stronger than your standard orc, as well as being more charismatic. And they're, even like orc chieftains are threatened by the Orogs because they're smarter, they make better weapons, and their charisma makes it so they could really take over a tribe if they wanted. Like, this guy just looks like your standard Marauder Orc. Don't get me wrong, the armor's nice and the axe is nice. I mean, the pauldrons are a little bit beefy, but his arms are beefy, so that works. Like, it's not over past where his, body size is. And I like the cape, the flowing. I like the sort of, he's right about to swing his weapon and cleave through his opponent. That's nice. But could they have made this better? I think it could have been a little bigger. A little bigger, not like in the pauldrons or anything like else. I think if they just made the mini a little bit higher up and a little bit brawnier looking, like it looks bigger compared to a normal orc. Like the last orc, it looks like it's honestly on the same scale or like maybe even a little bit smaller than that last orc in the shoulders and such, which is probably a mistake. Honestly, the last orc body size would have been better for an Orog, and the more giant tusks that the older one had would have been better. But you know what? It's not the end. I do have a couple Orog minis. I think one of the older at Hasbro, when Hasbro did it and made them. And then I also have like the Orog from Tyranny of Dragons. So it's not bad. I can easily use it as another orc with just a sort of top knot style ponytail hair going, or a Mongol hair, which is pretty cool. So it's not bad. I think it could have been a little better, and this Orog would have been really nice to get as an addition. But let's move on to number 3, shall we? Okay, so here we have our first guaranteed female orc, the Orc Claw of Luthic. Now, if I remember correctly, these are female orcs who are just super savage. They've gone like berserker mode. They get these giant claws. They don't even need weapons to tear their foes apart, which is pretty cool. I mean, like, she's kind of blessed by the orcish god Luthic, and she's ready to rip and tear and destroy her opponents. She still, I believe, would be a gray orc. I mean, every orc we've had up to here would probably be considered a gray orc. They have this grayish blue tone. But yeah, she's pretty cool. Now, this is very similar to the last Claw of Luthic we've had before in the past, so it's not the first time we've gotten this mini. Pretty cool. I like her more aggressive, like, roaring stance. It helps give her that authoritative sort of like she's ready to throw down with you. The other one, in my opinion, did not have as dynamic a pose. Very basic and sort of like she was just standing normally. This one, because she's got that tilt forward with the roar going, it looks like she's ready to charge and tear any threat to her little orclings that are going on or anything like that, or, whatever her job in the tribe is, to make sure she's ready to kick some butt, take some names, and do it in the name of Luthic and earn that power. So it's really cool. I like this orc. Pretty cool. I like her stance. She's not bad. I wish they'd given her a little bit more, like, clothing or armor design that was different than the older model, but we get what we get. So let's move on to number 4. And here we have number 4, the Orc Eye of Grumish. The Eye of Grumish. Now, I say it like that, I don't know why, but as you notice, he does have an eye missing, and he has an actual, bandage across it. So he's literally made that sacrifice to sacrifice an eye to the great orc god Grumish. As we know in the lore, orcish gods or orcs believe that Grumish was betrayed by the elven pantheon, which is why elves are the most hated of the orcs. And that's why, because the elven god took his eye. And I gotta admit, I like this orc. He has a lot of personality going on. He looks like he'd be a bit harder to fight, and he has a different color, which is good. We had a lot of these gray orcs to begin with. Now we're getting a different color. I think he'd be a little bit more towards like the hill orc tribe. I like how there's even like a hole in his cloth or in his cloak there. Sorry to readjust the camera now. I do like how he has the sword too. It looks like a simple pig iron sword. It doesn't look complicated. I like the wooden shield. It's very improvised looking. And he's very simple, but I like that. Orcs are simple creatures. They war, they fight. And since this is what is probably more considered a hill orc, the fact his weaponry and his gear is a simple loadout actually works. Since we're getting a hill orc styled orc with his brownish skin, brownish green skin, he's definitely ready to be more of your savage orc that your group will just destroy because they're not the very friendly kind, like grays that are smarter. This is more of the brute that, as we know, pillage, raids, plunders, and destroys for fun. So really good. We're only halfway through. Let's get to the rest, shall we? Okay, so here we have number 5, the Orc Blade of Ilnivel. I don't know if I said that correctly. My apologies, but So this is another gray orc. We're definitely getting back into the gray territory, which is not bad. Like I said, gray orcs are great for the more smarter orcs that could be more higher positions. And I've noticed that the game is kind of moving more towards the gray orcs since they had more to begin with anyway in lore. And this guy is definitely more armored up, so it works. He's got more spears, iron shield, an iron sword, an iron helm. You know, his cloth is a little bit better. It's not so savage looking like the Grummish one, where it looked more like just cloth and stuff put on him with some like bone armor. This guy's got like real sets of armor, a little bit more like intricacy in his design. So, works for a gray orc. Could you use this as an orc commander? Well, yeah, I mean, there's no reason in the orcish communities, an orc commander wouldn't take the best gear and make sure he's better decked than his, you know, subordinates. So I guess it could work. But it's pretty cool. I like his stance. He's got this nice, you know, look at me, I'm big, strong, I'm definitely an orc. I'm gonna cut you down with my sword in the name of my god who's given me power. So it looks like a lot of these ones, considering everything, like the last three have been godly infused, it's very unique. And we're probably going to get more in this set, more godly powered up or, you know, special orcs. So that's not a bad thing. But it's pretty cool. I do like this one. Another one that's got unique design and has a nice look to use on the tabletop. Very nice, WizKids. Very nice on this one. Okay, so here we have the Orc Nurtured one of Yurtris. Like I said, if I'm butchering the names, sorry, I don't speak Orcish. But, you know, this one threw me. At first, I thought it was going to be an infected orc, like it was a zombie orc, like the kind of, the mushroom zombies that we can get in the game that, you know, myconoids can technically create, what demonic fungal demons can create, you know, stuff like that. But no, this one's a little cool looking. Now, I haven't looked into the lore of orcs in a while, so I don't know what kind of variant special type this is. But he looks cool. I gotta admit, he looks pretty nasty. And I like it. He's special. Like, honestly, I could see someone using all 8 of these orcs as different, like, lead-ups to a big bad orc, or, like, not, like, or a special demon who's leading this orc, like a war chief, or leading up to something like that, like, and maybe it's just some orc subordinates with some goblins, because, you know, orcs and goblins work together all the time, so it wouldn't be all weird. But I like this one. Even though it's simple, it doesn't have any armor, he's just got a loincloth and a pustule-covered body, or riddled body full of, you know, I'm going to say disease. But it looks cool. He's got a good pose, too. He's not like most zombie creatures that are doing the one arm up. He's got, like, his arms spread. It looks like he's about to kind of fight, even though he's a simply, what would the word be? Mutated, infected. I mean, like, it just looks like something you don't want to touch, even though he's running towards you with his arms ready to slash and rip and tear into you. So it's pretty cool. It definitely gives that nice factor that someone on the board look at that's going to go, ooh, I don't want my guy fighting that. Keep that away from my character. Where's my warlock to lightning bolt or fireball this thing into oblivion and purify the table of its disgusting pustuled filth? Man, it's like I'm a thesaurus here doing all these crazy words. But a really nice one, though. This one, even though it's, like I said, simple, but it works. Especially if you're doing a campaign that's got, like, infected creatures. This would be a great one to use as a stand-in for an infected representative of just an invading horde, where maybe they look like this. They have these type of variations of ugly, disgusting creatures. Now, let's get on to, I believe we're on number 7. Yes, number 7 will be next. We're on the last 2 after this one, so let's get going. So here we have the Orc Red Fang of Chargos. Now, the Red Fang of Chargos is a very unique orc. And I think this one works pretty good as a standard orc, but you could easily use this as a special orc for a character. So, like, I mean, like, not a character in the sense of, like, this is going to be your party's character, because if you want someone to play an orc, this guy's not too bad. As you can see, he's very plain. He's not covered in tattoos. He's not in crazy armor. He's just got a literal hooded vest on and a sword and pants and shoes. Like, he actually looks like an adventuring orc. So if you wanted to have a good guy orc, this could be it. Or if you're playing a group of bad guys and someone wants to be an orc, this one is simple, so it works. And he is a gray orc. Dark gray, but still a gray orc. I know blue orcs are a thing as well, and then there's the green orcs, but, like, I think this one's definitely a gray. He looks pretty cool. I do like him. I like his simplicity. I love his, like, he kind of honestly is doing like what I like to call the Super Saiyan roar, where he's screaming to the heavens. His arms are in that sort of like style. I could just imagine energy flowing off this guy. He looks like he, honestly, if you wanted to have a barbarian orc, this would be a good one. He's not wearing armor. He's wearing clothes, so not armor. And he's just got a sword, which he could use to slash and hack and destroy more with his muscles as he's getting ready to pump up and whoop the crap out of any foes who dare threaten his fellow orcish tribesmen or his evil adventuring party, or like, I guess he even has his fellow adventurers. So it works pretty good. I actually have an idea. So throwing out, guys, we are getting ready to do a season 3 for the Dice and Dummies podcast. I have a group member in there who needs a muscular barbarian looking orc. I think I might use this one because it looks pretty good looking. He's not super ugly, because there's an orc needed for transforming. But if you guys do want to see where that idea goes, definitely make sure you tune into the Dice and Dummies, guys, for season 3. We are hoping to do it live, so you'll actually even see us on camera. And make sure you do tune in live so you're not missing out in case we have to remove anything. You get to see the nice rawness. Now, anyway, moving on, we're going to get to the final orc of this warband, then the final thoughts. Here we go. Here we have number 8. And what is an orc warband without an orc war chief? The orc war chief, ready to swing down his axe, screaming into battle. He looks like he's right about to just run forward and join his fellow orcs in ripping apart his foes and taking them down. At least, if he's a good war chief. If he's the cowardly kind, well, when the battle's over, he might be getting those tusks torn out of his head and getting murdered. Probably by the Red Fang of Chargos, considering that guy is a lot grumpier looking and ready to fight. Now, we do have to say, this orc is pretty cool looking. I like the really big boar tusks on him. He's got a simple, like, axe running at you. Not too bad. I like the skull coming across the chest to act as, like, sort of the cloth clasp. Simple, but the armor pelargons are smaller. I like the cape flow, that cape flowing off. It makes him kind of, like, because of his armor's sort of consistency and very well developed ideal of it, it makes it look like he's higher rank. Because for him to have armor that looks like a full set, and it was designed that way, means he's got to be higher ranking. And being a war chief, he's going to get first dibs on stuff. That's just how it works. Everyone else gets his leftover parts, so that's why some people have different armaments and either stuff that just doesn't look like it all belongs together, but it could go together. I mean, honestly, I wish he had the orc blade of Illanevel, sort of like bronzish chainmail shirt underneath. It would have given more like a higher up orc feel to him, but it's still cool. I mean, he's probably not going to be automatically on the front lines. He's going to be leading his men into battle. Then he's going to charge out after the enemy kind of, you know, shows what they've got. He's going to be like, okay, now I'm ready to go in there and join my orc boys and ripping them apart. And I like it. So let's get to final thoughts, though, shall we? Okay, so overall final thoughts of this warband. Let's think of what we're getting here. We're getting 4 unique, like 2 standard orc variants, and then we're getting 6 varianted orcs of different orcish gods giving them power. I mean, we've got Grumish. We've got, like, we have, sorry, wow. I just totally blanked out, forgot the other gods. But we have different gods here in their sort of appearance. Like, we have Chargos. There is another one. We have Chargos, Grumish, the Orc Claws, all this stuff. And, like, we even have a war chief. So, like, say if your group has been missing on that war chief to sit on a throne you might have made, where you're like, man, I want something that just is a war chief. Here you go. Now you've got one. You've got a bunch of minions. You have a couple orcs that can work for playable orcs if they're half orcs, because we all know half orcs look like orcs. I mean, that's why half orcs are allowed to join orc tribes and they're not, like, you know, persecuted. But it looks so cool. I gotta say, if you're looking for a good orc pack, these guys will do it. They'll work out fine. And I would definitely recommend trying to get them for a good deal. Like I said, I got mine at around $35. They're on sale. That's a good price. That's where I think WizKids should really start selling these around, like $35. Not this $49 to $50, over $50, or like, sorry, $45 to $50. There's just not enough miniatures. And yes, we're getting some great sculpts, but I think it would make it better to be more price effective. So that's really what I think WizKids needs to do, or Wizard of the Coast Guard makes a decision. Lower this MSRP back a bit so people are able to get their hands on these, so they're allowed to put it in their inventories and get some really cool miniatures. And more inventory for their miniature libraries to use for their players. Whether it's D&D, whether it's Pathfinder, or you want to use these as Orc Boys and Warhammer. Whatever. They'll do the job. They'll run in Orc style, blazing in, and ripping apart their foes. And having a ball doing it. So, I thank you guys if you've gotten this far in the video. Gracias as always, or thank you. And, if you haven't done so, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. Leave a comment or question down below in the comments. Or if you just have an idea or you want to just say, oh, that's awesome, throw it in the comments. Helps with the algorithm. Helps get the channel there. So also make sure to share and help the channel grow with all these different things. And stay tuned for more in the future, guys. Have a great one, and DreCon will see you next time. Bye-bye.